Good evening and welcome to Edessa, the Dark Crusade. Tonight we start the scene in the bazaar, in a small shop that is owned by a neonate of the city. Madeline is just making her way. She wants to meet this neonate. It's one of her clan. And she only met him briefly, so she might want to talk with him. And then also, she needs time to clear her head due to certain experiences as of late. So she could do with a bit of socializing. She's making her way to this small shop, but she will see if there is any merchant, any servants or the like that will let you in, or you just enter.
So you enter the shop first, so you'd be introduced. So Alma Shadid is at the stop. There are humans in this room, because it is a marketplace of sorts. It's a shop built into the bazaar.
Hmm.
So it's not really anyone's domain, but the La Sombra kind of look after it, because obviously it's their place.
Madeline will move to the back room.
Yeah, as you Omar Shadid. So what happens is, like, you see a customer going out the door as you go in. And Omar Shadid will be behind what is effectively a counter. Large wooden counter.
She will
Runs
go
all the way
up.
across.
She'll go up and nod and just say,
Ah, my
Good
dear
evening.
sister Madeline.
"Good evening.
How are you
Laura.
doing this fine evening?
I'm doing very well. I heard that there was a place but you knew a good place to relax one's feet.
Ah, yes. We have just finished construction of the first floor. A place to relax. I'm afraid there isn't too much on display right now. Just a few insignificant pieces of artwork, a few pretty pictures to look at, and some nice scenery. But if someone else were to come along, hopefully you'll be able to have a nice chat with them, yeah?
Yes, yes. Well, thank you very much for your hospitality. And if possible, she will head up to the first floor.
Yep. He has a goal. He just kind of who will take over the counter for Omar Shadid. He hops over the counter with surprising spryness for his apparent age. And you notice he has quite a few ghouls, actually. Because you notice, like, there are at least two guarding the hallway. The doors. They're kind of just standing around, sitting around. They don't appear too interested in what's going on. But you walk up to the door and you're literally shown into what is an empty room with some tables. And that's pretty much it. As he said, there's some scenery. There are like some few potted plants of a Middle Eastern origin. There's one on a table in the center table, which appears to be of a Mediterranean origin. Like, it's just a small potted plant, it's not significant. It's little flowers. There's a few pictures. And that's about it. There's a very small, it's not really, it's more like a counter with a few books on it rather than a bookshelf. But it's quite boring. There is a window that you can open and close, actually. It gives you a view of what's going on outside Omar's shop, which isn't a great view, but it is a view. It's well lit as well, it should be noted. The torches seem to have been strategically in place to give minimal provocation to one's beast. You don't really feel unsettled here. The flames are very well spaced, very far away, and seem to burn brightly enough to light the room, but not to make you feel uncomfortable. There are also some candles, and there's actually a tarp off to the side. You can see just under it appears to be a large amount of candle wax.
And Madeline will just have a quick look around, and she will just have a look at the plants. She'll spend a moment or two just touching the leaves, just seemingly taking her attention to these plants for a little while, and she will just, after that, she will just sit down and make herself as comfortable as possible.
Um, while that is happening, um, Garland will arrive in the shop with a piece of parchment that seems to have some things marked onto it, and this kind of looks around and sees if he notices any, I guess, available servant stuff to ask if he could help find certain items, and also to talk to certain people.
Around the bazaar, people generally advertising for their stalls, but you do get shown around when you don't get what you want, because it's still good business to direct someone to where they're actually able to go to buy what they want. When it comes to talking, people are kind of like, what the fuck do you want to talk for? Buy my shit, sort of thing.
You're a man who likes good quality and cannabis.
Nobody seems interested in like ample chatter. It's all business today. You could mingle perhaps with the customers buying, but again, a lot of people don't really seem to want to be bothered. And the unnaturally cold breeze that surrounds you appears to unnerve most of them. You are, however, eventually directed towards a humble-looking shop in one of the deeper parts of the bazaar, which is one of the more expensive parts of the bazaar to set up business. It's a full-blown shop. It's not a market stall. So this person had to buy this space and actually get permission to build into this building and this sort of thing, and get all this done from the nobilities and the guild and all that sort of thing. So this is definitely quite. It's not like high class, but it's more upper crust. It's above average. It's the upper end of the merchant class. It's the signpost that kind of that's a kind of above the door that just kind of flaps in your cold breeze. Just says Omar's jewels, gems, and other wondrous items.
Then
It's something of a general store that sells more than its fair share in jewelry.
Then amongst the flaps, I will enter the place and just kind of look left and right, surveying my surroundings and seeing and looking at their wares past the threshold as I venture deeper in.
The cold breeze catches the attentions of the guards. You realize before they weren't really paying attention to what's going on. They appeared to just be engaged in effectively some form of gambling. Namely because there's not too many people in here. But they kind of look at you upon feeling the breeze, and the door's still shut, and there's still a cold breeze. And they're just kind of staring at you.
I
Eventually, they kind of break away, but you kind of see them glance back to you every now and then. The man at the counter, who has since again been replaced by, the man at the counter kind of is again replaced by someone else who's walking down the stairs and kind of walks humbly through a wooden door that would allow you into the behind the till or the counter desk. There's a whole shelf of items behind him, ranging from gems to fabrics to even some more unusual objects you have not seen before.
Yeah. Garland will take notice of the fabrics and kind of hail the shopkeep at the time. And be like, excuse me, so what kind of parchments and fabrics are you selling here?
All kinds, sir, all kinds. Would you like to specify what you want?
I need something that can be able to support a good amount of weight. I need it for a carriage.
So you need the tough fabric, yes?
Yes.
What would you need to? You said you need it for a carriage. What do you mean when you mean support something? Do you just mean have the fabric laid out on the bottom of a carriage, or is it being used as some sort of makeshift bag?
More like a tether, just in case, you know.
A tether? Oh, then you'll want rope.
Yes.
He looks a bit befuddled. Oh, then you just need to ask to buy rope. We have plenty of rope.
Yeah. Seeing where the section would be warp rope, he would say, "I need a lead."
It's that thick rope, you know, the kind of like the ones you use in tug of war to literally pull stuff around like a tether.
Mhm.
He has like a bushel of that. He appears quite old, but has no difficulty lifting it. Because this is quite heavy. He has quite a fair amount of this. He kind of has it, he kind of has it in a bundle.
Seeing it, I take notice of it, but I don't try to make attention to it, and just state it out, and just feel like, yes, that'd be very useful. I need at least about, and just for pure context, because this measurement probably doesn't exist yet, I need about 100 feet of rope.
Good man. What are you intending to pull?
I'm going to be sectioning it off. I have many things to use this for. So I'm just buying a bulk amount so I don't have to keep coming back to the merchant's place.
He bobbles his head in affirmation. Seems quite pleased at the large amount of rope you're buying. One moment. All right, with this amount of rope, and then he gets out kind of a dusty, what's actually not a dusty book at all. You kind of see him read something underneath the counter desk. It will be at it'll cost about this much, good sir. And he will give you a price. Would you like to make a contested intelligence finance check?
Yes, I do have intelligence and I do have commerce. I do.
Yeah, you do have commerce. It might be finance.
I just need a load of Discord.
Actually, just make the intelligence commerce check, and then.
What dice roll are we in, since we are rolling? Or
1 moment. I totally forgot to freaking do that. Did the same. Oopsie.
I think it's the one in Dice Roller 2 because I see Sister Madeline's scene
Yes.
start.
Oh shit! Really?
Yep.
Fuck! I accidentally
pretty.
put it in Dice Roller 1. Shit.
Yeah, I was about to say that, but sorry.
Oopsie. I'm just gonna be a dick and close your scene arbitrarily.
God damn it.
So yeah, Dice Roller 1. Make the feel free to make the roll. You're presumably healed your permanent wound.
Oh, I wasn't healing it. Not today. I don't feel like I'm going to be in conflict.
Okay. You're wounded. You have -2 dice to this roll.
Oh, craps.
Yeah, you get dice pool penalties depending on your health level. And
All right, then since I am not going to be in combat, it's okay if I just spend the heal then? I'll take that.
And how much do you want to heal up to?
I just want to be enough where I don't get enough dice to ruin my roll, so I'll at least take it
You
to 1.
spend 3 blood, you're now bruised. You're
Yeah.
on 4 blood, you're not quite hungry, but you can feel it.
Yep.
You are starving just a little bit.
Yeah.
You are quite hungry right now.
Yeah.
But not enough that it's influencing your thought process.
Yeah. All right. Then that is my karma roll, the one I have right there. I have at least 2 successes.
Okay. Make the rolling dice roll a 1.
Oh, sorry.
So she said that. You get 2 successes, it's fine. Do you have a specialty in appraisal? Or no?
No, I do not.
Okay. You think the price might be a little high here? You feel like you're being priced a fairly high amount for this degree of rope? It's pretty high. It's pretty costly here.
Yeah, not. I look at him with a little bit of a concerned face, and I say, "Sir, is this any type of special material? Because this is just merely simple rope, and I have some friends that are merchants as well, and I've studied with them as well. I think this should be at a slightly cheaper price."
Sir, are you questioning the quality of my rope? This is the finest quality of rope in all of Odessa.
And Garland was slightly grinning.
I got permission to build this store here. I moved out of my market stall because my rope was this good. This is a general good store, sir.
Looking at the rope, can I tell what kind of material it's made out of?
You don't have appraisal as commerce, so I'm going to say make a perception cross check.
I also have investigation if that counts.
Not here.
Okay. And you said perception crafts? All right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what we did. That is 4 successes.
You have anything as specialty?
My crafts was because I told Sister Madeline.
What's your area of expertise for your crafts? Because if you don't have, if your area of expertise does not match what you're appraising, the difficulty will be higher. It doesn't matter in this case because you get a ridiculously good roll.
Yeah.
It's good rope, but it is like perhaps better quality rope in the sense that it's made from it's been woven to a high quality. It's still pretty costly for what it's worth.
Yeah. I'll look at the merchant and say this is made very well, but the material is not up to par for the price.
Have you know I come from I get my material from the finest suppliers.
It's like, and I don't doubt that you do, good sir, but not this one. This one is more of a typical quality, which is perfectly fine for me.
Are you accusing me of trying to scam you out of good to give you bad rope?
No, I think this rope is perfectly serviceable. I just think for what it is, I think the price should be a bit lower.
Okay. For this, roll your charisma commerce, and I'll roll his charisma commerce.
All right.
As you're trying to haggle him.
Yes, I am.
Which is pretty common in this day and age, so it's completely fine.
All right, that's at least 2.
Okay, I'm just going to check his stats really quickly. Oh, shit. Okay. Specialty for this as well. It's not just his air expertise. Oh, no, he doesn't have haggling specialty. It's fine. He gets 3 successes. So he beats you on this check. So he's not convinced. He's not being convinced to lower the price. He's adamant that his rope is the finest quality rope in all of the land, and he feels like he's being kind of falsely accused a little bit, which is not what you're doing, but he's using that angle to guilt trip you a little bit.
I'll look at him as like, all right, how about this? I'll take 50 feet today, and I'll make sure to buy 50 feet at another time.
You come back tomorrow and you buy the next 50 feet, yes?
And I look at my part of the money I have on me. I only have resources 1, so I don't.
You can buy rope with resources 1. It's fine. You are being. This does take a fair chunk out of your. Because you're only resources 1, unfortunately, this does take a little bit out of you because of the cost. But it's not like you're expending your resources dot for the month. It's just kind of you spend. It's almost like spending kind of like more than you want to. But it's not like super significant. It's just an irritation.
Yeah, I sigh a bit under my breath because I feel like he's cheated me a bit, but I need the rope for further endeavor. So
welcome to the world of commerce in the Middle Ages.
Yes, this is perfectly fine. And I was like, all right, yeah, I will buy 50 feet today, and I'll come back for 50 feet tomorrow.
Are you telling the truth, or are you lying to him?
No, I'm telling him the truth because Garland does not lie. Not in this situation. Lies ruin reputation.
This is true. I would make you roll a road check if you did lie and didn't actually do that. Glad to hear it, friend. Here is your rope. I'll have this specifically sectioned off and kept in good hands for you to collect tomorrow. Yes?
I appreciate it, good sir.
Excellent, excellent. He gives you 50 feet of rope. It's cut off by one of his servants. Very clean cut. And the other half, you can see they put into they go into you presume like because they go into a back room, presume that's a storage area.
I also asked the guys like, since I'm still here, though, I don't know if you have any metalwork. I also might need some hooks.
You want you want hooks?
Yeah, and he gives a description of what kind of hooks he wants. He wants the ones that have go a few feet out. They have a circle, and you just tie the rope inside the circle.
Yes. I think we've got a few of those lying around.
So
We're lucky. This is a big shop. We have many things.
I appreciate that.
We normally deal in jewelry, gems, things outside your pay grade, but we also deal in more general goods. Largely industrial work.
So, after that.
He throws you a few of these hooks. Completely standard price, nothing to see here.
Yeah, and I'll put them in a small bag that I carry on me. And I look around a bit, and I look at the shopkeep. It's like, I've also heard that this is a place where, and will it be a subterfuge rule to have to do, basically kind of can't talk or underspeak?
Expression.
Expression. Okie dokie.
If you have a specialty in conversation, that will apply here.
No. I do not think I do.
You have 2 dice to expression, 3 dice to charisma, so you have 5 dice.
Right. Yep.
2 successes. Okay, so you You are able to successfully get across what you're talking about, as in, okay, right, and perhaps your cold breeze actually comes into effect here as you notice. Oh, well, actually, you do notice now, as you say this, that he is not shivering at all.
Yeah.
He seems largely unaffected by your breeze. But the cold breeze that surrounds the room, the other people are thoroughly freaked out, including a couple of the customers being managed by several of the other servants behind you. He'll say, yes, come with me, please. He will lead you up the stairs.
Alrighty.
The door is not yet opened, as he says. So, could I have your name or some form of identification first, please?
Cervantes.
Cervantes. Don't cause trouble like you did at that meeting or at the party, yes? Or my boys will kick you out.
He kind of
His tone literally shifts from one of curiosity to very strict harshness.
Garland looks at him a bit surprised in his mind. I guess 4 Travis fast. That should be expected. And he just nods at him.
I've seen what's in that book. I look at it regularly. I know who you owe. Don't cause trouble here. Either for yourself or on behalf of your creditor. Oh, so help me. The old Baron will have your head.
We don't want that, sir. And
Oh, no, none of us want that. I do not want blood and ash on my new floor. I just got this finished literally a week ago. So if we could keep the bloodstains out of off of the walls, it would be appreciated. Other than that, have a pleasant evening. The Lady Madeleine is already inside.
again, a shocked face because he seems to be running into her a lot. And
Are you not pleased to see the good Madeleine?
no.
She is quite a beautiful woman. Very pleasant to have, you know. From a seneschal.
No, she's fine. Just kind of looks away.
Yeah, I would hope so. He kind of looks at you and gives you kind of a... He's not really buying your kind of looking away. That seems to kind of cause him to be a bit more, what do you say, kind of... He eyes you a little bit. I would hope so. Remember, stick to the rules. Otherwise, there's gonna be trouble, and we both know what that means. Other than that, have fun. There's not too much in there, I'm afraid. Just some nice scenery, a few pictures. It's a wonderful place to go and chat, however.
Thanks for the rope and hooks, good sir, as he passes through the door.
Pleasure doing business with you. We'll head back down the stairs.
And as he passes the threshold, he sees Madeline doing...
She will just, like, her brow will just... You'll see a reaction in her face, and it's not like... She'll just say, good evening, Galen. It is... Well, what brings you here tonight?
He shows the rope that he has across his shoulder. I was buying supplies.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, normally I would suppose that I should give it to you, given the fact that if one gives you too much rope, you would hang yourself. Hmm? And she smiles. She's obviously saying it in jest, in reference to something that you are pretty aware of.
Yeah. So I have been lax in my vigilance these days. been in my place meditating on that as he goes to sit down at a table and puts the rope on the table.
Is this something that you do regularly?
I laxed a bit when I felt I was in better control of myself. I spent many years with my sire controlling the beast, as it is one that we should do as being a Bruja.
Quite so. I wonder, do you feel that you are in less control since you are alone now?
I feel that I am in a better mindset today, but I need to increase my fortitude. What I did at the party was risky and unnecessary on my part.
Hmm, quite so. I have not heard specifically, although I know that you caused a problem.
Yes, but it has been dealt with for the time being.
It's good to hear. So, you need rope to what?
Oh, for a query.
Hmm, very well. So, when you meditate, what do you do? I am interested. Please, come, sit down.
Uh, Leaving the rope at the table, he'll come closer to Madeline at her location. Well, there are some in my place where I live at. The ground is sand, so with an object I tend to write in sayings that my master has told me. Yes, and I listen and I think about those words and I think about my actions as it is for my road. And one of them is I always act with honor and honesty, and I can truly represent my road if people cannot put their faith in me. I have not done that.
Hmm.
And
My offer of guidance is still open to you. If you have learned, of course. If you have found the information, at least some of it that I requested of you. You're
I
worthy.
have talked to some people about the dream. It's a group of, as far as I've seen that it is just 5K Knights. Apparently, Ulrich was a part of that, and it has disbanded recently.
I suppose you could say that. Just do not say that anywhere near Ulrich. He will not take that lightly.
I have no wish to speak of something that upsets him, as he seems to be easily put into, let's just say, discomfort.
Do you know why he is discomforted? Do you know
I'm
your
assuming.
your words cut him hard, especially because he believes in this dream so very much. So it is not without reason when he was, well, not wrathful to you, but at least he was confrontational or harsh. This is very deep, very personal to him. And that you have found out that he was indeed part of them. The pain he suffered manifested in his action towards careless words, even though you did not know that they were careless.
Yes, but it is over, and I will make sure to be more softly when I'm around him.
It is never over. The lessons will come all the time. We must all listen to them.
So I said, "Yes, señorita."
Please, you can just call me Madeleine. It is fine.
And he just
There's-
nods.
Oh, sorry. As you nod, there'll be a knock on the door. Feels more like it's being hit with some sort of weapon, more than like hand knocking it. It's more like a bash, 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 more than a knock, knock, knock. But it doesn't seem to be damaging the door or anything. It's just the sound is not what you'd expect.
Since it is not Madeleine's or Galan's place, I don't think any of them will say enter or anything like that.
Not even going to open the door for an old man, are you? Very well. A man with a walking stick walks into the room. He kicks the door shut, but not hard. More like he just kind of builds up some momentum with it using his heel.
Madeline will go over to him, or will get up and just say, "Oh, I am so very sorry. If I had known that you would require assistance, I would have offered it." She will go over and offer her hand.
Oh, I'm most sure you would. You're not sure if that's sarcasm or not. He will take your hand, however, and shake it softly. An offer. I am the neonate of Clan Toreador. Tis a pleasure to meet you.
The pleasure is
I
mine.
would hope.
The pleasure is mine. My name is Sister Madeleine.
Ah, yes. One of the former high flyers of this city. And behind you, one of its current bottom feeders.
I suppose you could say that, yes.
He doesn't really appear amused when he says either of those things. He appears to be rather blunt as he speaks to you. Oh, don't let me disturb you. I am merely here to take a moment's rest before being on my way once more. Old men like me cannot travel the distance, you see. Not as spry as the youthful. Or the old. As he looks at you.
All these are relative. Besides, it does not matter as long as you are young in the soul. And she will just smile to him.
Older than most neonates in this city. I would bet if I could count my mortal years. Alas, that's not how things operate around here, I was told. How convenient. he seems to have no compunction about just ranting to you and everything in sight.
What was he ranting about specifically?
That he's probably older than most neonates in this city, but he can't. They don't count.
Multiple years. All right. Okay.
And that irritates him. Being as old as he is quite. He does look like a fairly common old man. He's just dressed in common brown, grey peasant clothes. Has a thin belt keeping his what would it be like? What's the rather thin kind of uncomfortable fabric on? He doesn't appear particularly dirty, but he is quite dusty. He has this long grey beard and this long grey hair. His nose is quite pronounced. It's more like it's fairly big more than anything else. His eyebrows are kind of this thick grey. And his eyes just have this look of constant exasperation on them. Like he's just so tired or something.
Please, relax yourself. Sit down.
I should roll for him. He doesn't really get a good look at you up until right now. Check his stats. Your appearance 5. Okay. Yeah, he just continues on his way as he gives you a harder look. You see, as you tell him to be on his way, he kind of gives you kind of a gaze, kind of narrows his eyes at you, and then just kind of nods in a very gruff sense. Just kind of begins waddling over with his walking stick. Doesn't appear like he's particularly hampered. It's more like it's some useful assistance. He doesn't appear to be walking particularly quickly. He doesn't appear to walk with a limp, but you can tell he's definitely not as athletic as any of you. He's not as fast.
All right. Yeah, but or Madeline will get down. And we'll just wait and see. She won't strike up conversation with him right away. She'll just sit and see if he begins to talk about anything.
So what brings you down to Mr. Shadid's curiosities?
Well, Garland here required commodities, raw pacifier, I believe. And I came to relax and stretch my legs and, well, maybe meet someone I have not met before. That is done now. And, well, in general.
At least you have succeeded in one of your goals.
That's
I doubt you will succeed in the first one.
He looks at the rope Garland has.
Are you planning to tie yourself up to the noose?
No. I need it for a query.
So you decided to buy it from the most expensive store in the city. Must be an important task.
The way he elongates his final words it's almost like he's being a little bit antagonistic, not just towards you, but to Madeleine as well. There's this almost sense of like just this toxic cynicism to everything he says.
Garden will look at the old man, and It's an important query, and I wanted to support our canine endeavors.
And what, if I may ask, would your task be so important as to require such overly costly rope that you could purchase from any merchant stand in the city?
So it was given to me by a hound, so I wish to give it some I wish to give it some focus and seriousness.
A hound gave you this task, moving up in the world, leaving us behind.
He smiles at you, but you can still sense that cynicism. Sort of low-key aggression.
But my good sir, um, as neonate Toreador, you must be well versed with the arts of this city. I'm actually would be much appreciated if you could tell me some of the recent, let's say, fads.
I am a common man, but not so common as to lecture you on the production of rope. I am not a man of fads. I don't cling to such childish, temporary things.
So what do you pretend to? If fleeting things is not your thing, then what?
That's a good question, Madeleine. What? Must every Toreador be an artist, a beauty, a poser, a critic, a queen? Sounds much more along the realm of the Ventru, if you were to ask myself. I am
Well,
just
I suppose that I would think that the Toreador would have a lot of places for very wise and knowledgeable men, no?
I'm glad to see that you think in such a way, and disappointed to tell you that is not the case. I am just a man. Unfortunately, there's not much credit in being a man anymore.
Garland will look at him, actually a little disappointed in his words, and like, there's always a need for a man. If there's no man, there's nothing.
What do you know of a man? How
No.
important is the man to you? What would you use the man for?
The man has limitless potential. I came from humble beginnings before I was embraced. Merely a son to a farmer and a farmer and a teacher. And he kind of goes a little cold, and the wind around him actually gets a little bit chillier. Before it was taken from me, and I was moved into a new interest of work.
I apologize that you have suffered the same fate as literally every other Canaanite in history.
Despite your personal opening up to him slightly regarding the death of your family, he seems completely unsympathetic.
That is the nature of society. But it doesn't answer my question, does it? Unless the answer is that the man is to end. Are you ignoring me, or have I stunned you into torpor? Maybe I should try this trick on Madeleine sometime.
You couldn't understand him, okay. He says, that doesn't answer my question unless the man is to end. Basically.
Yeah. Garland would say, said, it also, he goes, and he says, well, this man, after what was taken from him, became, well, nothing more than a common rogue that joined with other common rogues before. He was given an opportunity to do something better. I think for every man, they have had the opportunity to choose their path and do the best that they can do in whatever path they choose to focus in.
And what path is your path, then?
There is a degree of almost, no matter how you answer this question, it will be wrong sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like you've already disappointed him, but then again, he seems to be perpetually disappointed.
My path is what I feel that is greatest for me, is to be useful to my sire for the time being, and hopefully expand into ways that I can help not only myself but others on their paths.
To be a man is to be a pawn, I see.
Everybody's a servant to something. That's what you choose to follow is what makes you, that gives you control. Let's see.
You say that you are not a wise man. But you at least sound like one.
Wise. I'd call myself a man. A common man.
And a common man cannot be wise?
He ponders this for some sort of, he faux ponders this. And then shrugs.
No one serves. To be useful. To be a useful pawn is a rather disappointing ambition for one so young. I wonder if you undergone the blood bond to your sire. I would not blame you. It is common.
He looks to Madeleine as if she knows, being older than he is.
She won't say anything. She'll just look at him. But that was directed mainly at Garland, right?
Yeah, he just looks at you as if you know what he's talking about, not as in you're bonded as well.
Yeah, but okay, there could be more in that if, well.
There's nuance that can be lost, really, in silent communication, so.
But she just smiles a bit and just doesn't say anything.
He'll look at the old man and just say, it's a matter of perspective, and depending on your aspect, I see that everybody is a pawn, a servant to something, but a servant's not a slave. Every man wishes for food and drink. You can't avoid that. You'll always be a servant to food and drink. You'll always be, what's it? But you may not always be
Do
a
not
servant.
serve the whims of bears and deer and lambs.
No, not anymore.
We
Hey.
didn't at all, boy. I did not put a crown on my livestock's head. I believe I would be considered senile if I did such a thing.
Garvin look at the old man, and in his mind is more or less, he feels like he's not understanding his point, so he says nothing at this point.
And back into torpor it goes. Running away. So common nowadays.
He does say nowadays.
What about you, Madeleine? Would you consider yourself a servant, a slave? Such a fine line. Ever so fine. Bit like this man. Looks rather gaunt, wouldn't you say? A little bit sickly.
No, he's just straight up antagonizing you, Garland.
Yeah.
I would not say so. But, well, I am suppose his servant more than others and less than some others. Again, I lived on my own for quite some time. It was all right, but I longed to be home, and this city is my home.
Do you consider yourself free?
Quite so.
And yet you are a servant.
A servant can leave and quit. A slave cannot.
So you serve but are not committed.
As long as my conscience allows me to serve, and I see a clear path and a reason to serve, and I follow the orders given, I will serve.
Who would you serve, Sister Madeleine? Former sergeant, former leader, official, princess, queen.
Well,
Having rose from such a tragic and common background. That is our society to become its cream of its crop.
There's just so much cynicism in his voice, even to you. Like, he doesn't really believe anything he's saying at all. It's almost like he kind of takes amusement in the fact that none of it is really true.
well, I suppose that depends on the beholder. I know that I know what I like and want, and I do appreciate being back in the city. But tell me, have you been in this city long?
Many years. Of course, that is insignificant in this society. But many years. At least you know what you want. I would at least hope so for one such as yourself. To be useful to my desire, honestly. He seems to mumble to himself about the conversation he just had.
Madeline will just let him.
Grumble.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What?
just
Yeah,
grumble
grumble
like the
or
old twat he is. The old fart.
she will just turn to Garland just to say, "So, tell me, if we were to conclude this business we talked about earlier, when would you be able?"
Um, it'd be on your time, Madeline. I'm surely it's much more valuable than mine at the moment.
It is.
Madeline will not help but crack a slight smile at that.
He doesn't even smile, even look at either of you. He just says it is while he's absent-mindedly looking towards the window.
And she will just, I will let you know in a couple of days, I think. And we will be able to proceed.
Thank you.
All right. I'm going to make a quick roll, everybody. 2. He's going to let. Take his time staring at both of you. Garland, how are you feeling right now?
Feeling at this point, he's relatively neutral of anything of his top emotion. He feels a bit, best way to say is, apprehensive.
Apprehensive. And angry, because Bruja.
I'm not always angry.
You're Bruja, you're always angry, my friend. There's always going to be a little red core at the center of your aura. Just like a little bauble, just like hanging off like a crystal. Like just, it's like the only bauble on this Christmas tree. It's just like a sad little Christmas tree.
I haven't got to the point where I can be the Hulk and just say I'm always angry.
As a Bruja, you're technically always angry. But yes.
Yes.
You appear a little bit nervous. I hope I have not made you uncomfortable.
He says that was zero sincerity.
You seem to be a man with many troubles on your shoulders, so I wish only not to offend you.
At least you're learning something. I have to meet with my sire now.
He kind of rolls his eyes.
I will take my leave.
He says that as if he's taking it and no one gets to say no.
He's taking what?
He says he's going to take his leave now, and he says it in such a way as in, I am leaving and no one gets to tell me I'm not.
She will just say, "Have a good evening."
He just nods at you and just kind of grumbles to himself. Kind of walks on over to the door. And the door opens, and there's a woman there. Holds it open for him. He'll just says,
someone with manners.
and he like gestures his arms very sharply and widely as he says this. as if to emphasize the point, as if to emphasize this is the only person here with any manners, of any degree of etiquette whatsoever. And say thank you, my dear. May these two learn greatly from you. And for the record, he is sighing like this.
Carla will just look at the man, just confused and a little bit annoyed.
You see this woman. She closes the door softly shut behind her. She looks a little bit like you, Madeleine, in some ways. Her outfit is a bit more Western. It's a little bit more noble. Her hair, however, is a long black.
Madeline gets up.
Her skin, this very ashen pallor. You can see she has a sheathed knife. Oh, new faces.
Good evening. Madeline will get up, curtsy towards her, and say, would you join us? Please.
Yes, yes. Be my pleasure. And she will curtsy before you in such a way that it causes her rather long dress to flourish somewhat. I am Anne, as I am known. I am an ancestor of Clan Cappadocian. I know one of you through sheer reputation. However, I do not know your face, good sir. My lord. And she will curtsy before you, Garland, particularly in a very submissive fashion.
Garland honestly looks a little bit confused, but he nods to her and is like, yes, good evening, señorita. I'm Cervantes of Clan Bruja.
One of our fellow trainers. Pleasure to... And then she stops. Her eyebrows go up. And what she does is you see her take a second finger out on her left hand. And she will lick it with her tongue. And she holds the finger up to the air. There is... Interesting. How cold for a room so well lit, walled by stone. And she looks at the two of you with a curious smile on her face.
Garland look at Anne, says, due to my nature, my ill winds seem to follow my way.
Not all winds so cold are ill, my friend. It's just a matter of application and purpose.
Well, I can say with dealing with mortals when I want to make a point, my very presence can keep them off balance.
A quality well understood by my clan. May I have a seat?
Of course.
She will sit next to you and opposite Madeline.
Garland actually he tries not to shift into a seat because he's not used to people actually trying to sit next to him.
Oh yeah, she seems remarkably pleasant and smiles at you warmly.
So, what brings you here this good evening?
I only came to seek new faces. I'm a most curious young lady. I hope you'll forgive me.
Of course. I have no reason to quell a person that wishes to be social. That's unnecessary.
Thank you.
I have had quite a few dealings with your clan. It is always a pleasure. I must say, you do remind me a little of a person I once knew called Mashid, who lived here in the city. Did you meet her by any chance?
I can't say I've had the pleasure of meeting such a lovely young person.
Well, that is a shame.
Always. It's unfortunate that it's only the three of us, but I suppose this is a recently opened gathering point.
Quite so. Huh.
So it's a good opportunity for Shadid to prove he's worth his salt, I suppose.
He will do quite well, I am sure. He is, after all, of the Magisters. She smiles.
He's quite an active little neonate scurrying around, and she'll literally have two of her fingers imitate a running motion along the table. Don't see so many as active as himself. A risky path to take attracts attention, but for those that succeed, they forever secure themselves a piece of this city's grandeur.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained. I just hope that whatever boons he acquires will use for the betterment of the city and not just merely for himself.
I'm sure he'll be fine. As this Lady Madeleine says, he's of the Magisters. We should be inspiring confidence in each other. We're all on the same side, after all. Quite literally, the Bruja de la Sombra and the Cappadocians are in an alliance. So there's a bit of an odd dynamic here of everyone quite literally being on the same page.
And Team Switzerland, but yeah. Um, Madeline will just say there is indeed quite enough turmoil in these nights to go around, to find oneself in such pleasant and sensible company is a good change of pace.
It is good, yes. It's been a while since the city's been at peace.
As far as I can tell, it's mainly quieter. I wouldn't say more peaceful. But I am new here, so I don't know the true history of the city.
Although I'm sure you're far more well educated than myself, my lord. She used to treat you as royalty.
I am no lord, at least not yet. There's no need for titles that I have not earned.
Very well. Her facade just drops instantly.
And he sees that and goes, "It's only fair."
Ah, but what is fair in this world? I think the world has a tendency to treat certain people very unfairly at times. She looks
Unfortunately,
directly towards you, Madeleine, as she says that.
While I do not adhere to the idea of perfect justice, that everyone gets what they deserve, and well, everything is wrong, we must take the blows as they come, not as we want them.
If nothing else, we might learn from the pains of injustice.
Quite thoroughly and quite intently. At least we should.
There is always more to soak in.
Indeed.
What about yourself, Fair Garland? Speaking of boons, I do apologize. I've brought us onto a tangent.
I haven't gained any of yet.
Ah, you should start soon or you will be left behind.
And looking at the rope at the other table, I'm proceeding accordingly.
Oh, what heavy duty equipment, however, do you plan to use it?
It's a fork where a hound asked me to find something.
Oh, and what did they ask you to find?
I believe that information may be confidential.
Oh. You couldn't possibly tell me.
I wish to respect the confidence that the hound gave me. He did not speak to all the Kenites within the city, just a select few.
She gives you kind of a pouting look. She comes across as very upset, very sad, very sympathetic.
So, I'm sorry, Senorita. I
See her eyes
wish.
watering slightly.
Wait, with blood? So that's gonna.
Yeah. So the way blood, like you actually sweat blood as a canite, but it looks like water. A similar thing here.
Hmm.
It's very, very thin, super thin. So it actually just looks like normal water liquid. Doesn't look out of place.
Yeah. No, where I would say, said, sorry, Senorita. I wish not to step on any more toes than I have recently.
Oh, what toes? What poor toes have you stepped on?
More than I ever wanted to do in my early days here. We'll leave it at that.
I hope they learned from what you put them through. Perhaps they taught you something in return.
I hope to learn greatly from my experiences within this city. And maybe in return with these experiences I teach others. But
One can only dream.
has to start somewhere.
How do you respond to that statement, by the way? Is it just kind of like have to start somewhere, or is it kind of a case of how do you look at her when you say that?
I mean it genuinely, as in like it has literally as in it has to start somewhere. Some things have to start as dreams. So
She gives you a look of disappointment. There's like a moment where it's almost like she looks expectantly at you, and then looks a little bit, oh. This like look of slight irritation crosses her face before turning to Madeleine.
What about yourself, Madeleine? You appear to be up and about.
Quite so. There are many things to be discovered, much to learn.
Hmm.
What direction it comes from, that is remains to be seen, of course. It can come in very many unexpected ways.
Hmm.
It can come when you least expect it.
One of
Lately,
the
I have been challenged in another way, not necessarily knowledge of the world, but knowledge of oneself. It has been trying, but rewarding.
One of the most fascinating aspects I've discovered around trial is its unpredictability. You'll never truly know where the world will take you until it does.
And when it takes you in an unexpected direction, you
Hmm.
have only yourself to count upon.
Hmm. Indeed, true. I've never been one for the more concrete aspects of academia. It has its merits, but sometimes I prefer a little bit more unpredictability. Some things must be learned through experience.
Indeed.
Although, the discussion of ideas is something that is woefully underappreciated.
and Carbon looked actually kind of surprised hearing that. Like and he says, with a city this big and as many connects as I've seen as of late, I assume this place to be brewing with debates and philosophies.
Well, it's only this place is only recently opened, and even more recently announced.
And there is a time and place for philosophy.
Indeed.
It is not always something you simply just discuss.
Not everything is best discussed in a public forum.
My point exactly.
What of your ideas, though, Garland? And she pats you on the shoulder.
Um, Keeping his composure, but internally kind of shook. But and he says, "I believe in I believe in doing things well. Measure twice, cut once."
I believe most people
believe in doing things well, yes. She
You
kind of nods, expecting a continuation.
in the line of work that I do, you'd be surprised how many people want to take shortcuts.
Sometimes shortcuts are the best methods towards doing something well. What is your line of business, if I may ask?
I'm typically a messenger of sorts.
Oh, a courier. So will you be staying here long?
I was asked by my sire to gather some information here, so yes.
Oh, what information might that be? Maybe I can help you.
Oh, just the nature of the city. He wishes to establish, hopefully, a place of power here to expand his regions and also support more of Canite society. But
Oh,
he's
no one
busy
will
on
give
it.
him power here unless he shows up. I don't think anyone here would be so, how to say, swayed by someone who merely acts through a proxy, especially one who seems to have been very eager to throw their most earnest child there into the fire.
He is a busy man. He
However great he
travels.
may be, ultimately, if one wishes to rule, they must do it in person.
So I expect him to be here eventually. I do feel that there are times where I could use assistance at a immediate moment, but I see this opportunity to prove myself to him.
Would you say you've done so far?
No, I would not, unfortunately. And he has actually a kind of a disappointed look on his face.
No.
With
I'm sure you'll do fine.
I expect myself to do fine. Setbacks are apparent, will occur. The best prove themselves by adjusting to it.
Ah, yes. Will you do fine or will you do better?
I plan to do better. Only the best.
Rope and hooks in hand.
But
I jest.
and this evening, or since we're having this conversation about ourselves, or at least of this moment, what about you? As a member of Cappadocia's, I'm sure you read many books and learn many things.
Some things are best discovered without literary tools. Sometimes things are best discovered in person. I am the more curious type. I do not exist within an ivory tower.
Garland will nod at that. It's not unheard of that tomes have merely an image of what really happens.
Precisely. And some things have yet to be recorded by such tomes at all.
Indeed. But
There are many intangibles in the air, many things to be seen, much to be learned, signs in the land. Songs only the spirits speak of.
yes, I'm sure you can see things that many of the others would only dream of. I hope it gives you great insight.
Yes. It has, insofar. There's so much out there. There's even much to be learned about the self from one's own explorations.
Said he nods at that. So, and he'll turn to Madeline and says, Madeline, since you are here, and I wish, and looks back over to An. Unfortunately, to cut this conversation short, if you would, I do actually wish to use your assistance for something real quick before I head in for the night.
Truly. Well, is this something you would like to speak of in private?
Yes, this will be unfortunately a private matter. But I trust you, it's merely trivial, but merely to get myself adjusted properly.
Very well. If you would have the excuse for a moment, I will be back in just a second. And
Course.
Madeline will walk with Garland probably out of the room.
And Garmin will look over to Madeline and says, though this is a trivial matter, this may not take a moment. I need to find a
I should
proper
note, where are
location.
you right now? Because if you head outdoors, you're basically heading straight back into the upstairs section of the shop.
Yeah.
Like a stairway that kind of leads downwards. So it's like a little corridor, but you're still out on the shop. So technically.
Yeah, but Garmin will look over to Madeline and says that I need a proper location for this, unfortunately. Though this should not take long, so you could easily get back to the shop and continue the conversation with An.
What do you need?
With my query, I expect it to be unusually strong. And being a member of your clan, I think I would hope that you'd have some abilities to replicate that situation.
What? I do not understand. What do you mean? Replicate what situation?
And he shows up the rope as he lives and grabs it. I just need to see how well. There's some spots that I've looked for, and if I can bring the query to, and I want to establish that the supports I have with this and the rope can withstand such a thing.
Well, I do not believe that I am necessarily the best to demonstrate this. But you should, if you think that your quarry is, and she will whisper to you, ordinarily strong, then you should probably rely on more than just the rope.
I have some other plans as well, but I at least wanted to start it at a simple base, then move up from there. But if this seems a bit unnecessary, an unnecessary use of your time, don't worry about it. I might be able to do it myself.
Well, we can speak again soon if you require assistance. But I do believe that your clan as well would be able to test such things, no?
And he nods at that. Yes, but surely the sheriff is severely busy, and don't know if my provision would be in the mood for such a thing. But this, like I said, is
I will assist you.
Uh.
But we will talk of this later. All right?
yes, of course. I thank you again for your assistance. And he looks back at the room. I think I should gather maybe a few more supplies than at another shop. But I do enjoy our conversations. Thank you. And he begins walking down the stairs.
Madeline enters the room again. And she will go over to the table and sit down again and just. I intend to educate him. Hopefully he will learn quickly. He needs to, but he is willing to learn and willing to listen. That is the first step.
He appears rather frazzled, but I'm sure someone like yourself could teach him.
He is also young, I think.
Hmm. All the better to be molded into the enlightened individual that we all desire to be.
Quite so. I can tell that you would wish to learn a lot yourself.
I was hoping to speak with you privately, in fact.
Truly. Well, it seems that you have obtained the first thing you would want.
She will stand up and will take a seat next to you, if I may.
Please.
I apologize for having to act so submissive earlier. You know how men can be.
Why? In this our society, we must all play our different parts. Why make why make our existence so much more difficult when we can make some people believe very convenient things that will just make them all the more manageable?
Hmm. It is excruciating to play out the part, but that only makes it more valuable for the experience.
Quite so.
If I may invite you to a certain gathering that would be taking place later next month, it would be appreciated for people like ourselves.
And
Yes.
exactly what kind of people would you be referring to? There are many people like us, but well,
Oh, she's gonna do a thing now. She smiles at you.
and
But I'm just checking what this is.
she was going to, Madeline was going to say, I assume that you are not talking about every kindred in the city,
Oh,
Canite in the city.
oh no, of course not. What's the role for necromancy, by the way? Is it just willpower?
Humanity and necromancy, I think it's just willpower. Celebration is occult, but I think all humanity and necromancy is
Each one is experiencing against both dark and another pass alongside this which me. Alright. Sorry, I'm just checking and trying to figure out what the role is for this ability.
Okay, I don't think she has to roll for this ability then, which is pretty broken. She'll smile in a very knowing fashion towards you, Madeline. It's very knowing. Not understanding, but knowing. She'll whisper to you one of the many names of the mother into your ear.
Please make me a willpower roll, difficulty 8.
Current or maximum?
Permanent.
Oh,
Permanent.
Parmana.
Yeah. Keep in mind you can't spend willpower for willpower rolls. You do succeed.
I
however.
succeed. Aha!
There is much weight in this name, obviously. You can feel the weight it has on the room. You feel the air sink, the cold breeze turn hot.
Madeline would just smile and close her eyes for a moment and just sit there and enjoy it, actually. And it would be fairly clear to this person that Madeline actually gets a smile on her face. And she opens her eyes and just, there are not too many people who know. But I am glad to meet your sister, finally. I believed I was the only one for so long. I was, as far as I know, the only one.
No longer. I tried to pass this enlightenment on to my child, but he has clung to one of the Abrahamic faiths. He does not know of my road, however.
May
Our
I
place
ask?
here is secure.
May I ask how you know of mine? It is not something for obvious reasons, as you probably know yourself. Not something I spread.
For the longest time, I had no idea. It was during a time when I believe you were absent from this city. Nary but a few years ago from now, I have several connections, many connections, to those of our particular beliefs outside of this city.
Ah, I see.
You were spoke fondly of. I had hoped you
Then,
would return here.
as any, listening to the dog. And she stops herself. As anyone listening to her should be considered in high regard. And she smiles to her.
Oh, pardon, what did she say?
As she said, you were spoken of in high regard, she will answer as any who listens to her should be held in high regard, she essentially says. Essentially saying that just by her saying this, she's essentially saying that anyone on the path should be held in the same high regard as herself. That is essentially what she's saying.
She nods and smiles at this.
Yes, indeed.
May I ask, how many of, I assume then that it is not only the two of us.
There aren't many of us in this city. Most who listen. Are not necessarily of our kind. They are. We have several mortal adherents to our ways.
I see.
Although the captain of the Prince's Guard, one of the elder of our Lamia, several of them listen as well. For I am the only one among the main clan, unfortunately. But it was she who taught me. She was one of my many mothers.
Well, you can consider yourself at least one sister richer now. And she smiles.
There is like a deep artificial intake of breath and this sense of relaxation and relief. I'm glad. It is honestly a deep relief and satisfaction of mine to find you as one of our faithful.
Likewise. I will be looking very much forward to a official meeting. When will this be?
Sometime during this month, we are still accommodating for things.
Please let me know if there is anything I can do to assist.
I will. My only concern is there are those that might intend to spoil our meeting, but we are currently ensuring the utmost secrecy of our plans, as it were, for the moment. It has rarely been safe for any one of us to reveal themselves. It is a shame.
We have so very much to teach, but alas, so very few will listen.
Are you planning? Are you planning to enlighten that one? She points towards the door.
As long as he is willing to receive knowledge, I will not force it upon him. Forcing it upon him will not do anything. He must want knowledge, and if he does not want it, I cannot help him. I will try to show him a better way, sure. But there is difference between guidance and introduction into the more basic
Absolutely.
fundamentals. There is a huge difference between the two.
If you require any assistance on that matter, I'd be happy to help you. It would be appreciated if you could, not just because you'd receive a new brother, but because you've always been fairly short on male Canaanites among our ranks. We have many mortal men who follow our ways, however. It is an interesting divide. It is often the mortals among our ranks that often teach many of the
Male Canaanites have their stubborn pride in their old ways, I suppose. Women, as I'm sure you would agree, are a bit more pragmatic and wise when it comes to these matters.
The one benefit of our condition is that old mortal prejudices tend to be swept away, but with us, not so commonly. I find it odd, but perhaps it is simply within this city. I have done a bit of travelling myself. This is not the case everywhere, so perhaps it is merely a minor problem to be resolved here.
There is more than one reason I came back to this city, but there is something different of this city, more so than others. But that is something we should discuss in another place.
I would love to discuss that with you at a later date if you'd be so willing.
Of course.
If there is anything you require of me, feel free to contact me. I can easily be found within the Prophet's Quarter. I too tend to stick out, as I'm sure you're aware, and she kind of takes her hair and twirls it. Obviously, her hair and her pallor is not necessarily natural. She does look not from this city. She looks fairly foreign. Not even Frankish, more, perhaps you could say, Iberian, Spanish.
Spanish. Oh, okay. And she also looks dead.
Yeah, she looks like she's from the Mediterranean, basically. Maybe
And
Greek.
she
Can't
looks
really
as
tell.
though she's not very well. She looks actually on the brink of death, I'm guessing, since she is Cappadocian.
Cappadocian, yeah. Well, she just has an ashen pallor. She actually looks fairly normal other than that.
Ah, okay, fair enough.
It's literally she can't use her blood to
Mm.
make her look normal, look human. So she simply looks pale.
Appropriate
She doesn't
clothing.
look like an actual corpse. That's actually a different power.
Very well. And you can find me at the merchant's quarter. Here. Just leave a message and I will respond as fast as I can.
I'd absolutely love to have another sit down and chat with you sometime. I do apologize if I was so direct in my introductions, but there's a lesson to be learned from every name.
Quite so. I do myself appreciate a bit of directness in certain interactions, but well, since you know of me, you have probably heard quite a few stories, but well, I cannot show you all of my secrets in just the first meeting.
Oh,
Some things will
yes.
be
These things
saved.
are earned and exchanged in time.
Quite true.
Of course, I wouldn't dare impinge on what is yours.
Very well. Great.
Perhaps we should depart from this place. I do feel a little bit uneasy talking about such matters in such a public space.
Please.
Perhaps we could retreat to... She thinks on this. My haven. You may even stay if we happen to discuss matters for too long.
Well,
I'd always be happy to lend my home to one such as yourself.
I will gladly take you up on that offer, but I'm afraid it must be another day. Still have certain things. There is a couple of hours to sunrise, and I have certain previous engagement I must see to. I am terribly sorry, but uh, for your sake, I will push them a bit. You can walk slowly.
Of course, I'd appreciate that much.
And Madeline will just get up, and the two, I think, will leave. She will, of course, just nod to Omar as she leaves.
Yeah. Oh yeah. As you leave, she locks her arm with yours, so you kind of look like you're a group together, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
And he sees you two walking down. Did you have fun, my ladies?
Yes, I thank you very much. But both of us must attend to other business.
Oh no, I appreciate you staying for as long as you have. Please feel free to come again at any time.
No problem at all. Thank you very much for your hospitality once more. And she will just nod to him. And
As you walk down the street, as you walk down with Anne, you begin slowly walking through the bazaar. As you begin to walk out of its center, the people begin to thin out. It's still fairly busy. But as you walk out and it begins to quieten down, would you like to make a perception alertness roll?
dum, dum, dum. 2 successes.
Two successes. I'll also roll for Anne. Two successes as well. You begin to hear some sort of peel. It's a very loud peeling, scratching sound, cracking, snapping.
Coming from in front of us, behind us.
It seems to be a fair distance away. It's one of the alleys. You're beginning to head out onto the street now. As you do,
Malin will just look in the direction vaguely and just say, "Did you hear that?"
it's rather odd. Perhaps it's one of the local thugs dealing with the merchants and contraband as they always do.
Would you mind to have a quiet look?
Oh, no, by all means. If I could accompany, I'd appreciate it.
Please. And the 2 of them will proceed quickly in the direction of the sound. I'm thinking.
You begin to walk in the direction of this noise, and you see it almost begins to slow down a little bit as you approach. As you get closer, you begin to hear the noises in greater detail. It's as if there's a lot of carving, a lot of... it's not snapping, it's more like clicking noises. And then as you grow closer, as you walk up to it, it stops. And you just hear this sigh of satisfaction. Maybe a perception awareness roll.
I was about to say something, but can I see anything when I come to the, like, is there anything smashed or is anything visibly destroyed or broken?
As you go through, okay, so with that many successes in your awareness roll, you feel like you feel something in the back of your head. It's almost like you've been expected. As you walk around a corner, you literally see the foot of whoever was here, but that's not really the main thing on display. Oh no. It appears you're not far away from the person who's just around this alley, but what they've done is clear for everyone to see. On the wall there is blood with the Roman numeral 1 in front of it. It's almost like the rubble here. So actually, it's not. Most of it is not even rubble. A lot of this appears very. A lot of the stuff here looks new. Like you see vases. It's almost like a stage has been set in some sort of morbid fashion. In the center of it, the thing that is on display, the thing everything is surrounding for you, is what was once a body. The skin having been peeled back completely, making up some sort of circular fabric. Or it's like it's a rug. The ends curled in slightly. The center, you see bone carved into this skin connected to it. It's like a system of roots. You compare it to that of a plant. The spine appears to be the stem, the rib cage spread out to represent a blooming flower in the center of skull.
Would I be able to deduce whether or not this is the work of a thaumaturgist?
Roll me perception occult or canite law, whichever is your highest.
That is. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I have one success no matter what, but.
The skin has been carved unnaturally. This could not have been done with a tool. It would have taken far too much time.
So it's some supernatural way, and my first guess would be.
On first glance, it appears to be that which you fear.
And what do I need to roll for that?
Please roll your courage.
Oh, it's courage. It's courage.
Courage, yeah. Courage difficulty 6. I think it's courage anyway. If it's not, I'll make you reroll it. I'm just going to double check now, but I think it's courage.
It makes sense. It's courage. It must be courage. And I fail.
This is not an immediate threat to you. This is just a display of the power, not someone actually doing it. This is the end result. You find yourself consciously backing away. You feel panicked. You feel the need to get away, but your arm is locked with Anne's, and Anne kind of keeps you down, looks a bit surprised at you.
Can I spend a willpower to either roll again or overcome my fear?
So because the difficulty of this roll is determined by the storyteller, I'm going to say you may make a second courage roll diff 6, because it shouldn't have been diff 6 to begin with. This is not an active threat to you, so it should be
watch me botch this bitch.
Diff 5, diff 4, really.
Oh, okay. No?
Yeah.
Nope.
So,
okay.
you kind of realize you're in the presence of a fellow sister, and displays of cowardice like this would be kind of frowned upon.
Yeah.
And that sort of social pressure kind of, you feel the need to like, oh fuck. Like I have to show my sister what I'm worth here, that I'm of who I am. Not in, you don't think of it in that sense, but it's more of an instinctual thing.
She will go closer with Anne and just say, "We were meant to see this. Someone wanted us to see this." I feel almost, what shall we say, expected. You?
Indeed, why leave such an artwork in an alleyway if it is not so out of the way, if it is not expected to be found?
What would they Sumitsu want? Why would they Sumitsu want to show me, you, or both of us? Please.
A flesh crafter, maybe not as Misi.
This is the first thing to my mind that would be able to achieve points.
I know little of them, frankly.
I know a little too much.
Few of them exist among our ranks. They are too self-absorbed.
I have had some experiences. She's not getting so close, but she is walking around. Is there anything else? Is it just like a body that has just been molested beyond belief? And the rumor numeral 1?
There is something else, actually. There is a note, an envelope with a wax seal. It is inserted into the jaw of the skull.
Well, they are pleasant enough to leave us a note. Madeline, having heard of Spirit's Touch, but not too concerned about it, is probably going to take the envelope unless Anne stops her.
You wish stop by a second. I may be able to discern who did this.
Please. Please, go ahead.
She'll make her roll.
She has Spirit's Touch. Woohoo!
Yeah, she's an Master of Clan Cappadocia, have also excels in Clan Discipline.
All right, I'm thinking of my, yeah, of course.
All to it is okay. This would be very recent. The difficulty for this would be quite low. Oh, her impressions are very vague. Oh no. It's 5d10 greater than or equal to 4f4. So I should... Did I do that wrong? I think I did that wrong.
Yeah, it's equal to, right? It's equal to, yeah, it's F1, I think, right? And not 4F4.
That's right.
So that's 3 successes.
She gets a good description of the person, and then she'll do the roll once more on other parts of the art piece and the different things. We'll just make this a general roll for the rest of her examining things. Oopsie.
Haha!
3 successes for that as well. Oh, I should roll an extra dice. Four successes, she gets the name. And something starts to feel very strange to her. She gives a very concerned look.
Can you see anything? Did you discern anything?
Look at this. All of these items, they belong to the victim. Even the envelope. His name was Haroon. He was just a mortal, but I can't find out who did this. Not like this.
Immortal. Displayed for us in this horrific fashion.
This is not a breach of our... Oh, it is. It is a breach of the science in the highest regard.
We need to move him. Of that there is no doubt. But
We all need to report this.
indeed we must.
Here. If you're the one who knew you were expected, then it's possible this was intended for you. There is no name on the envelope that would discern who it's intended for, though.
Yeah, Madeline will open it.
There's a letter, a piece of parchment. Lovely parchment, lovely and soft, and has that kind of feel to it. It's like kind of like when you're reading a good book. It's better than reading an audiobook because you have that feel of the texture of the paper, and you can really get that from this piece of parchment. And from this envelope, it reads, "My dearest guests, My apologies you have been attracted to such a common location. It was not my intention at all to drag you out from your homes of comfort to such a decrepit point for you to be witness to this entree. Unfortunately, as I'm sure many of you are aware, true art and true learning is often underappreciated. But don't worry. There'll be much more to come in the near future, and I wouldn't dare keep this to ourselves. I am not a selfish person. I do hope, however, that you appreciate this early preview of my work, and that soon you'll be so inspired as to add yourself to my canvas. With regards, the traveling man. And then brackets. Such an ostentatious name, no? Close brackets.
She will just either read very lowly or show it to Anna and just...
Anna is actually capable of reading somewhat roughly, but she can. She reads more slowly than you do.
So, as expected, the 1 is the number of installments. This is the first. If God only knows how many, but well. I will report this to the Hound, Ulrich.
Yes. We should go. I hear footsteps.
We need to hide this body. Would I be able to, like, is there time to haul this body off, or are there someone coming right now?
It's not really a body more than it is a set piece. It's kind of like it's been molded into a fabric and the ends have been culled in. So it's kind of like a it's literally a rug with the ends curled in, so it kind of like is a... So it could actually hold a small amount of water. It has a bone structure that resembles some sort of root system. It looks very much like a plant. It's not really a person or a body at this point, more than it is some sort of assembly made out of human...
it's still
human
unnatural.
flesh. It's still hugely unnatural.
By its very nature, so Madeline will insist that we haul it off somewhere. Just like the two of them will grab a
At
place.
this point, you begin to hear footsteps heading towards you.
Madeline will
This
grab.
this thing is literally... You begin to lift it, you realize it's partially melded into the ground.
I will spend blood in strength and in potence, and I will say quickly for Anna to do the same.
Quick, I'm just going to make a quick... I'm going to mention something quick to you, because everyone gets common sense, in that if you try hauling this thing off, you're not in a non-busy part of the district. Like, it's slower here, but you can't carry this in town.
Okay, Madeline will...
and at this point, you can hear the footsteps too. There are people
Madeline
literally about to round the corner.
Yeah, Madeline will get Anna to go toward... Would we be able to stop them off at the corner? Like, would we be able to, if we ran for it, would be able to stop them at the corner before they look at this thing? Hello? Hello? Hello?
There we go. Sorry, I'm back.
Oh, okay.
First option is to take it with you, but you'd be implicated in the crime.
Yeah, would it be able to head off the people coming around the corner?
Possibly.
Madeline will try that.
And Anne will say she can't do that because she doesn't have those sorts of powers. Oh, wait, no, wait a second.
Okay, I'm seriously bad this time.
Yes, there are two guards heading around, about to round the corner. You rush out to see them. They look very surprised.
Yeah, Madeline will just put a hand to her chest and just, "Oh, you startled me. Good evening. Well, what can I help you two fine gentlemen with?"
Oh, good evening, ma'am. No. You don't have to help us. We're just out on patrol. Please, be on your way.
Oh, you are on patrol. I must say, you are doing so very well. You are helping keep this city much safer. I know that you are on duty, but would you mind keeping me and my friend here company for a moment? We had a trouble with ruffians here later, but we managed to get away, and honestly, we have been hiding a little, and we are a little frightened. Out of character, do you want me to roll something for that?
Ooh.
Yes or no?
One of them will say, yes, just a moment. Yeah, sure, so we can absolutely accompany you. We're you just wait here a moment. We'll be right back. And one of them will stay with you, but one of them will be about to round the corner.
If he is that, she will.
He is the wreck. He's the problem. He's walked past you. You can't make eye contact
She will
with
just
him.
say, "Excuse me."
It's okay. We're right here. We're right here.
No, she will try to get his attention to get him to turn around.
He keeps walking, but just before he's about to walk around the corner, he looks extremely and gets kind of annoyed with him. And you will feel that same sensation as before. As she whispers something to his ear. No, she doesn't whisper something to her. She whispers something. You know what it is. But none of them hear them, apart from the one about to round the corner. It causes him to jar in his movement. He stumbles, and he kind of stumbles back towards you. Just enough time for you to get a command in.
"Please stay," she will say, and she will put the emphasis on stay.
Yep, make that roll.
What is that? That is manipulation. What is? I can't remember.
Manipulation, intimidation. Man, ruining the lives of good men who aren't actually taking bribes or being easily seduced by women. These are people actually doing their jobs, goddammit. That's why I didn't have you roll for them, because they're actually doing their jobs and are dedicated to it.
Depending on the difficulty or his willpower, or What is
Oh, you
it?
completely crushed his willpower as an old man.
Ah,
It's probably quite high because he actually was not swayed by you emotionally, despite your apparent beauty and the fact that there's two of you, two beautiful women asking both of them to stay and accompany them. And they were pretty dedicated to your job, so his willpower's probably 4 or 5, but you still get as many successes as you need. His mind kind of flips into, oh yes, I'm going to stay here now. And he'll stay with you. I think it could wait. I think it could wait, man. All right,
very good. We are
whatever.
shaken to our cores, and it is so good to have such dedicated men. I really do not wish to take you away from your duties, but it is, after all, your jobs to make sure that the citizens is safe. No,
Yes, yes. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, let's go. Where do you want to go?
and she will she will give them a rough description of it of a noble house she is a servant at,
There's a
or the
he-
two of them are servants at.
Okay, he's this man is the man you've dominated appears quite dazed and frazzled, and the way he talks is erratic, and his accomplice feels his companion feels obviously troubled by this. But he doesn't mention it. He just like there's a look of concern every now and then, feels a bit weirded out because this is kind of weird, but there's nothing else that really strikes him. And however, whisper to you, once we're done here, they'll go back or be implicated in this.
Um, and Madeline will just, oh, sister, it is, we can trust these men. They are the city guard. And she will go in to hug her and whisper to her, and she would just say, you need to, or she will say, remember that you need to find something to bring home. As in, she's going to whisper very quickly, like, uh, you head off somewhere and get this thing away. I will try to distract them for as long as possible.
Okay, I know just the person to call for this.
And Madeline will more or less after that, after they've walked a little, she will just say, "Oh, sister, where is the satchel? The satchel for the Lord? Did you forget it?"
Oh, oh no, I must hurry back. My apologies, my sincerest apologies. Should kind of
Just stick
take
to
on
the
that
main
facade
road.
as you just
I do
in the
believe that
area.
there is enough people on the streets that you will not be bothered. Stay away from the alleys. Please come home quickly. And Madeline will talk these two guards in ear off. She will walk with them, and if the situation presents itself so that they can take a shortcut through an alley, and she might, well, not with their two of them, but no, she will just she will chat up these people, and I don't know if you want me to do a roll for that.
Yeah, but again, they're surprisingly dedicated to their jobs. They don't appear emotionally swayed by you. Um, these guys are like probably either very new city guard or very old city guard. Because they seem very
Yes.
dedicated to what they're doing. However, you can keep their attention on you.
Yeah, she
You
will
easily
be
do that, yeah.
very glad that they're helping and they're keeping the city safe. She will talk to their dedication of their job and how much she appreciates it. And
They seem to be digging a damsel in distress spiel that you're giving them, and considering the incredibly backwards nature of this time period, it's something easily done. Um, while they're still perhaps pretty chaste, actually. They're they're very gentlemanly people, gentlemanly fellows. You definitely have all eyes on you. They seem quite fond of you.
Hmm.
And I think
She will get their names. She will ensure them that a lord will. She will get a very good wording on them among the guard captain.
Arnold and Harold. No. Rhyming names, new rhyming names. No, you'll get their names.
Hmm.
They're more than happy to give you them. And yeah. Soon you'll be.
She will get home eventually.
You will. Well, actually, Anne will catch up with you after returning, after the guards leave. She appears to be forever frantically looking for you on the street.
So Madeline is heading somewhat. She's a bit nervous, and she'll just say Anne, and she won't shout or anything in the streets. She will just wave and just notion for her to get closer.
When I got there, people were already running away from the area. We've secured the items, but do you still have those guards with you?
No.
You have their names?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I can handle. Well, we can. Okay, if that's all we need. Can you remove their memories or alter them in some way?
No, I cannot, but I'm quite sure that someone can.
She kind of grits her teeth. You'll need to pull in a favor from someone. She looks down towards the ground as if she's trying to think of some other solution. Or we'll need to get them to keep this a secret. Can you make them do that?
Of that, I'm quite sure.
Okay. Out of character, how do you intend to do that? We'll just turn it into a set of rolls right now, because it's not something that'd be worth an entire scene's length.
Madeline will. She will hear out. She will probably mention it to the Primogen, since it will come up. And just hear him out, or just relay the situation to him, and to just.
He can ensure no one ever hears of this again, or your involvement. It would cost you a minor boon. It would, in fact, negate the boon you acquired from him recently. To be even.
Madeline will do that, actually.
So just the Seneschal takes care of it.
Yeah.
I'm just letting you know all your options. So you can try and take care of it yourself, which would require a set of rolls to...
No, it's actually just manipulate the guards, or...
To manipulate the guards, it would take you some time. You need to keep them. It's a bit suspicious. Like, it's the risk of you failing is that it kind of escalates the issue. If you succeed, it goes away. It's the sense of that you're manipulating these guards. You have their names. You can find them, and they haven't been gone for long. You can probably catch up to them. There are ways you could get them to keep this a secret. You could imprison them for a time. You could you could try misleading them with kind of tidbits of information about where you were, so they kind of challenge their own memory a little bit. The thing is, the difficulty for some of these roles will be around 8, because these guards know where they were.
Yeah, I am I'm just going to get the Seneschal to do it, because then
Okay.
I'm sure that it's not a problem.
Okay, that's perfectly fine. I was just letting you know of the full range of your, or just
And
giving
I
you kind
thank
of a
you.
list.
And she will just, if we continue the scene, she will, my Primogen, I owe him, well, he owes me, and I think I would owe him, but I think we can come to an agreement that is, I think he will be able to, he is the Seneschal after all. I will make sure that no one hears of this.
That's good to hear. Thank you, sister.
Not a problem.
The hug is more genuine this time. Her skin is cold.
She just,
While the air
Madeline,
is hot from the things she said, from the words of power she's emitted, her skin remains a
I
freezing
apologize
cold.
for bringing you into this situation. Running would not have been, well, we needed at least to try to negate this breach as much as possible.
No, it's quite all right. I thank you for expending what you've earned to keep us safe. If you ever need my help with anything, you have my full assistance.
Likewise, sister.
Thank you.
Please have a very good evening. And I have to, well, postpone certain things, and I must speak with the Primogen post haste. But please
Yes.
have a very good evening. And a little more courtesy to her. And yeah, the two will part ways.
She'll do something of a more submissive curtsy for you, as you have basically expended much of yourself, like a significant boon here. Even though it's only a minor boon, it's one that the Seneschal owed you. Like the second most powerful man in this city. And she will hurry off back towards the Prophet's Quarter, as we can end our scene there. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. We'll see you next time.